Hello, gold and silver flower TV viewers. This is Professor Lee, who loves you all very much. Recently, the news has been heartbreaking. It seems that there is no one left to take responsibility for the invisible world of the mind. People continue to fill themselves with greed and desires, often sacrificing others for their own benefit. The biggest problem is that invisible issues are difficult to address. That's why many people just ignore them and move on. However, this is a tragic reality. So, today, I have chosen this topic. Why do we ignore mental health? We may look fine on the outside, but what about the inside? Today, someone has taken their own life. There are people who appear to have perfect bodies, successful careers, and wonderful lives. But why do some of them make extreme choices? Recently, a famous yoga instructor passed away. They looked healthy and perfect on the outside, but inside, they were struggling. This is not just an individual's problem. It is something we can all experience. 1. What we are overlooking. TV constantly tells us, eat this, and you'll be healthy, exercise, and your body will change. But no one talks about what truly matters: our mind. When the mind collapses, the body follows. But we only care about appearances. South Korea has the highest suicide rate in the world. The reason is simple: we do not take care of our mental health. 2. Why do we ignore mental health? In news articles, we often see messages like, "You need to be strong." But people are indifferent. When someone is struggling, people say, "You're too weak." If they seek therapy, they are labeled as problematic. So, people hide their pain, suffer alone, and sometimes make extreme choices. Avoid saying these things. Just endure it. There are people worse off than you. Why are you being so dramatic? Do you realize how painful these words can be? 3. What we can do. It's time for a change. Approach people who are struggling. Instead of saying, "Endure it," say, "I understand your feelings." Take care of mental health just as you do physical health. Seeking therapy is not shameful. Your small words can save someone's life. We all experience pain, but together, we can overcome it. If you are struggling, please don't suffer alone. You are not alone. You are precious. Right now, say something kind to someone around you. Share this message so that more people recognize the importance of mental health. In our society, too many people are suffering emotionally. We often focus on appearances and success, neglecting the most important part: our mind. South Korea's high suicide rate is a consequence of ignoring mental health. But now is the time to change. If someone around you seems to be struggling, reach out first. Instead of saying, "Just endure it," say, "That must be really hard. I understand." We must work to make mental health care as normal as physical health care. Seeking therapy or asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it is a strong choice. Your small actions and words can make a difference in someone's life. We all have emotional wounds. Let's acknowledge them and support each other. Rather than avoiding people who seem different, try listening to them. Most people pretend to be okay on the outside, but inside, they may be full of scars. What we truly need are small acts of understanding and comfort. Instead of saying, "Cheer up," try saying, "That must have been tough." And most importantly, do not neglect your own mental health. Therapy is not something to be ashamed of, it is a way to take care of yourself. Mental health is the foundation of a happier and healthier life. If we learn to acknowledge our pain and support one another, we can create a warmer and more understanding society. Try saying a kind word to someone next to you, and most importantly, to yourself. In a world that often values strength and perfection, it's easy to forget that vulnerability is a part of being human. We all carry invisible burdens, and it's okay to ask for help. When those burdens become too heavy to bear, if we start by breaking the silence around mental health, we can save lives. Imagine if everyone felt safe enough to open up about their inner struggles, without fear of judgment. That world begins with you. With us, with the small kindnesses we offer one another. Don't wait until it's too late. Listen, care, and remind someone today that they are not alone. You never know whose life you might change. And perhaps, in doing so, you'll find healing for yourself as well. The harsh reality is that most people don't realize the significance of their words and actions until it's too late. Imagine a coworker quietly sitting at their desk. Someone who always smiles, always says they're fine. What if that person is carrying a pain so deep they feel unseen, unheard? A simple "How are you? Are you really okay?" could change everything. Too often, people only truly listen when tragedy strikes, when someone they know or love is gone. But by then, it's too late to ask questions, too late to offer the kindness and understanding that might have saved them. Why do we wait? Why do we ignore the signs when they're right in front of us? If everyone took the time to truly connect, to show even a small amount of compassion, how many lives could be saved? Mental health is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Remember, silence can be louder than words. Be the voice someone needs before it's too late. Don't just hear, listen. Don't just see, notice. You could be the light in someone's darkest moment. And in doing so, you might find that they become the light in yours as well. The truth is, mental health is something we all have to face, whether we acknowledge it or not. Ignoring it doesn't make it disappear. It only allows the wounds to fester in silence. Imagine if someone sitting next to you right now was on the verge of giving up, but your single act of kindness, your single word, was what brought them back from the edge. It's easier than we think to make a difference, yet we hesitate. We wait for someone else to act, thinking it's not our responsibility. But what if it is? What if your absence of action becomes a regret you carry forever? We must break this cycle. We must create a space where people can speak without fear, where the words, "I need help," are met with support, not judgment. Start today. Start now. Because every moment matters, and so does every life. But here's the twist: what if the reason we ignore mental health isn't just societal stigma or lack of awareness? What if it's because deep down, we're scared? Scared to truly look within ourselves. Scared to acknowledge the things we've suppressed for so long. It's easier to point fingers, to blame systems, than to confront our own vulnerability. Maybe we ignore mental health not because it doesn't matter, but because it matters too much. Have you ever wondered if the real reason we rush past someone's pain is because it reflects something we don't want to face within ourselves? A truth we're unwilling to confront? And so, ignoring them becomes a way of ignoring parts of ourselves. But what happens when we run out of distractions? When silence forces us to listen to what's inside, that's when reality comes knocking. The question is, will you be ready to answer? In that inevitable moment when everything becomes quiet, when there's no noise to drown out the thoughts we've been avoiding, the realization hits us. We are all fragile, held together by threads of hope, connection, and understanding. Ignoring mental health doesn't shield us, it isolates us. It's in that isolation where darkness grows. But here's the eerie part: what if the pain we dismiss in others eventually mirrors back onto us? What if the signs we overlook, the quiet cries for help, the subtle shifts in behavior are warnings meant not only for them but for us too? Ignoring the struggles of others feeds a cycle where no one truly listens, and everyone silently suffers. Imagine a world where everyone is shouting inside, yet no one hears a thing. The irony is, in trying to silence someone else's pain, we amplify our own. And one day, when the silence we've nurtured finally shouts back, will we recognize it, or will it be too late? The tragedy lies in the fact that we pretend not to notice until the silence grows deafening. We scroll past the subtle cries on social media, dismiss the quiet "I'm fine" responses from friends, rationalizing that it's not our place, that someone else will step in. But what if no one does? What if ignoring their pain sets off a chain reaction, like a ripple, spreading in still weight, emanating outwards until one day it reaches us? Perhaps the scariest part isn't that others are suffering, but that their struggle reflects our own fragile humanity, a mirror we're too terrified to face. We see the world's shadows and assume they belong only to others, not realizing they also live within us. What happens when the shadows we've avoided no longer stay hidden? Are we brave enough to confront them? Or does ignoring them seal all our fates? Only time will tell who will break first, us, or the people we swore we didn't see. But by then, will it already be too late? Silent screams echo louder than words, and ignoring them makes us complicit in their pain and maybe our own.